What's up, y'all? Welcome to part two of the perfect bracket in our March Madness opinions of the week. We appreciate everyone that listened to part one, and we apologize for the delay, but it was about a 1 hour and 45-minute episode, so we didn't want to release that all at once. We decided to break it up in two parts, and this one will show who we have winning the championship, which we believe is the right pick because it is the perfect bracket. Thank you for everyone that listened, and I'll get you right back to this episode. Here is the top part of a bracket. Make sure to check out part one for that. Not very risky, as you can tell. 1 and 2 seeds. Apparently, Texas is the hottest team back. Texas is back, apparently. But now we're going to the East. Where are we going to finally have a difference? Or are we going to just go 1 seed wins?
One seed's gonna win this one.
Okay, let me talk about the matchups. The matchup is either a 14-20 Texas Southern team. Okay, if they win, they're 15-20, and then a team that didn't even win their conference tournament. So it's between two teams that probably should not have made it in every other scenario ever, playing against Zach Edey, who is taller than probably by like 8 inches and the next tallest person on either of those teams. I haven't done much research on either of those teams because, let's be honest, they're not winning this game.
It's gonna look like Taco Fall and versus Duke that year.
Well, I mean, Duke won that game.
Well, Duke won that game, but I'm saying like how big he looked.
Yes. You know, a good comparison here, because we'll get to this soon, will be Oral Roberts, who has a 7'5" Connor Vanover, but we'll go to the next matchup. Kevin,
The next matchup.
My bad. Thanks. So
You go.
Purdue. I picked Purdue.
Got it.
Wonderful.
Now Memphis versus FAU.
How is this an 8-9, man?
This is the ridiculous 8-9.
This is ridiculous. FAU being a 9 seed is quite possibly the worst pick by the committee. They should honestly be a 7 seed. They probably got this wrong by 2 seed lines, maybe 3. If they put them at 6, you wouldn't see me complaining. And
And now they're screwed because they have to play Memphis.
Yeah, I'm taking. And the problem is I'm taking Memphis, and it's not a knock. Memphis is better, but it's not a knock on FAU. FAU does not deserve this matchup, and Memphis probably shouldn't be an 8 seed. They beat Houston in their conference championship. We have 2 underseeded teams. We probably have a 6 facing a 7 right now, and
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they call it madness. This is the reason why it becomes madness in the first place.
Yeah, this is beats a 9.
If we take away bias, if we take bias away, this is the best game of the first round.
Wow.
If this game is going to be insane, I would probably say if I could not watch, if I was forced by God or some other all-knowing being, I could only watch one game in the first round, I would choose this one.
Wow.
FAU's particularly small, aren't they?
They're not the biggest team in the world.
Yeah, and I think Memphis has just bigger guys, but their best players are like Memphis's best players are like 6 feet. I honestly.
Oh no! Wait! I just looked it up. No, FAU has a 7'1" center.
When? Since when did they have?
Who's averaging 11 and 6? Who's averaging 11 and 6?
Since when?
10.6 and 6.4 to be exact.
When? Where have I been living under a rock?
Yeah, I guess so.
My goodness.
I think they're a deep balanced team. There's nothing else to say. They have 9 players playing 16 or more minutes per game, but Memphis is built for March.
They're built for March. They have that it factor, I think. I mean, they just beat the best defensive team in the nation. So, I mean, without Sasser, but they still completely. It was kind of a good old fashioned butt whooping. So,
I still think Houston wins that game with Sasser, but yes, it was a very impressive win by Memphis, and I feel bad for saying it because I think FAU has played one of the best surprise seasons I've ever seen by a team, but they don't win a game.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Watch him go to the Final Four or something.
I would not be mad. FAU, prove me wrong, please.
Austin, if I could choose a game that I had to watch out of all these games, I'd pick Duke versus Oral Roberts.
Let me say this right now before we get ahead of ourselves. Vanover, like I said just before, is very tall. And the fact is that he being 7'3", 7'4", 7'5", can guard Edie. And so if we get to the point where Purdue could play Oral Roberts, I think we have a matchup here. The problem is Oral Roberts as a team isn't great defensively, but Purdue isn't. We'll get to that when we get there. I have Oral Roberts. Duke does not have the experience that Oral Roberts does. If we talk about it, a lot of players that were on that 2021 team that made the Sweet 16 are here. And the only real old player for Duke is Jeremy Roach. And I think Asmus was a 7'3", 7'4", 7'5" guy that can shoot threes in Connor Vanover. I like Oral Roberts.
Jake.
Kevin, you can go ahead.
All right, well, I'm an Oral Roberts person. Like, I was watching their championship game where they dominated. That when I saw Vanover, I'm like, man, they have a nice. I don't remember that when they made that run, Austin, that they had a legit.
No, he wasn't there. They had Kevin O'Banner back then. Now they have Connor Vanover, who came over from Arkansas.
Yep. Where Arkansas, they lost to Duke last year, correct? Or is that 2 years ago?
Yeah, they lost to Duke last year. The year before they lost to Houston.
So he has that experience too. So I really like their starting five.
The problem is Vanover didn't play at all because we had Jalen Williams.
Well, yeah. But like, I think he was still part of that team. So yeah.
Sort of, kind of. But
yeah,
still, he knows what it means like to be on a run like that. But I like Oral Roberts.
I'm glad we're on the Oral Roberts stock. Are you?
All right. To the audiences, let me just be clear. Both these men are biased. The man, Max Asmus, went to their high school.
The man that picked Mizzou to win, that goes.
Okay.
Max Asmus went to their high school. They got to see him play basketball.
It's well documented.
Let me put it like this. Let me put it very plainly. Duke fouls. Oral Roberts has the best assist to turnover ratio in college basketball. They don't turn over the ball, and they get a lot of assists.
They do not turn over the ball. That is very true.
They have one of the best offenses in the country. They've won 18 straight games. Talk about hottest team in the nation. Duke doesn't shoot the three ball well. They shoot 33.6% to Oral Roberts 36.9%. They don't shoot well from the field, 45%, which is 152nd. I understand Duke is hot. I understand they won 9 straight. The ACC isn't good. It's not. And the people picking Duke just because they're Duke does not realize that it takes a minute to get a new coach acclimated. I understand he's been great this year, but the ACC's been weak, and I think Oral Roberts is a better team.
Yes, sir. We also picked Julius Marble to not advance far, and he played on the same team.
Well, because he played against another Jesuit kid in Gavin Perryman, so it doesn't matter because we thought Jesuit versus Jesuit in the same game, so that argument's null and void.
All right, I know it doesn't matter, but let me give my pick.
All right.
Well, we know
Oral Roberts wins.
Oh, nice.
Not because Max Asmus went to my high school, but because Max Asmus scores 23 points a game. Connor Vanover is 7'5" and averages 2-something blocks a game.
3.3. He has 109.
3.3 blocks a game, over 100 blocks over the year. But people will look at that team and wonder, oh, just 2 guys. Well, how could they be that good, right? It's just 2 guys. Well, you'd be wrong. They have what's this McBride? What's that guy?
Isaac McBride, who came from. Don't tell me. Where'd he come from? Oh, where'd he come from?
Yes.
Oh man.
Also, Austin did not say Max Asmus. He mentioned Vanover. That was.
I did mention Vanover.
He didn't mention Asmus, so not biased.
You both are biased. You guys love Max Asmus.
Oh, I do love Max Asmus. I can't remember. Is it Vanderbilt? It's some orange or is it some black and gold team? Is what I remember. Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
By the way,
where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Is someone supposed to be looking this up?
I thought you had it pulled up.
No.
Yeah.
Isaac McBride. It went to Vanderbilt. I
Let's
cannot believe I was
go.
right. That's insane. They're gonna think I'm cheating. Oh man, I can't believe I got that right. But yeah,
Isaac McBride, not other than the fact that he went to Vanderbilt, he shoots 41% from three. Kareem Thompson, I'm looking at these stats, shoots 39.2% from three. Patrick Mwamba shoots 39.1% from three, and Deshane Weaver shoots 42% from three. They also average around 37 rebounds per game. That's good enough for me. I think they're gonna. It might be a. I don't want to say it's gonna be a blowout, but it might just be a blowout, guys.
Oh wow.
okay, I'm not. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
you're a
not
little
going
bit. I
that
think you're a
far.
little
All
bit
right.
biased there.
All right.
Bias where?
I don't know, man.
Where is my bias?
I think it's gonna be a close one.
I
Maybe
like
it
Duke
comes
this
down-
year. I
Maybe
like
it
Duke
comes
this
down to
year.
a clutch Max Asmus 3. That's what probably happens.
I don't believe. I think Duke's inexperience and their freshman experience is going to hurt them here.
Right.
And I do think it'll be 10-something points. Not because I
Right.
liked UNC 6 years ago, because I really don't hate Duke. I like the squad that they have. I like the kids, but I just don't see it in them.
Oh, there's a bias that we could also add.
Yeah, you can add, but I don't hate Duke. Throughout
Right.
my whole time liking UNC, I never hated Duke.
All right. Well, let's go to Tennessee versus Louisiana.
Man,
Expert.
This is also interesting. This is also very interesting because Tennessee has not been playing very well. I think they lost. I think they've been very. They played very poorly. I think they lost like 7 of their last 10.
6.
6,
last.
close enough. I mean, they're not very great from three.
Two of those games against Mizzou.
Yes, 2
Yeah.
against Mizzou. Make sure y'all remember that one, and they're a higher seed. They're not very good from 3. They have like 1 or 2 guys who can hit the 3. They're very inconsistent. They're also, and I mean, after losing Ziegler to the ACL tear, their defense has significantly declined in quality. And the Cajuns, while they're a pretty poor free throw shooting team, they like to rebound the ball and they can shoot the ball. And so
Well, their best player is a 6'11" forward, averaging 19 and 9.
Yeah, that's kind of promising to me. And so honestly, I might pick the upset here again. I'm going Louisiana.
I'm going Louisiana as well.
Let's
Louisiana has a big man while shooting 37.8% from 3.
There you go.
All right.
I understand they don't
too.
shoot the free throw well, but Tennessee isn't that much better. 71.4 versus 68.4. That's 3%. But I think Louisiana is going to be clutch. They're going to be an underdog. They know that, but I think they're ready for the moment. And I think Ziegler being out is the difference. If they had Ziegler, I would take Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree. And now, does this fulfill your stat, Austin, with a 4 seed?
Yes,
Crazy.
a top 4 seed must lose. This does fulfill.
All right, now we go to Kentucky and Providence.
This one's tough for me. The Bryce Hopkins return game. I don't know. They literally both teams shoot 45.9% from the field. Both 45.9. Kentucky 35.4% from 3. Providence 35.1. They have the same splits from the field and from 3, basically. Providence is a better free throw shooting team, but it's going to come down to rebounding. And
Kentucky has Sheboy.
Providence is Hopkins, but the difference is really going to be rebounding, and I think it's going to be a really close game where Kentucky barely pulls it out.
I'm right there with you. I've been going back and forth. I'm like, Providence, I like them. Cooley never comes out with a bad team. But Kentucky, and they brought everyone back. They got Sheboy, and I believe Sheboy. I mean, I feel like after losing the first round last year, they're not going to let themselves lose in the first round this year, especially with how good and intense and the mindset of Sheboy and his ferocity on the boards. He's going to Kentucky themselves to he's going to will themselves to a win.
I agree.
All right, Kentucky. There we go. Now K-State versus Montana State.
Montana State's not bad, but I mean, they shoot about the same percentages, and K-State plays against much harder teams. I know there's some injuries happening with K-State, and I understand Raekwon Battle's really good, but Montana State was struggling in their Big Sky tournament a little bit. I know Kansas State obviously did as well. They lost their first game, but I think the depth of K State is going to be shown here. I know they have injuries, but they still have a good 6 guys that can get buckets.
I agree. K-State wins this.
All right, K State. There we go. Now Michigan State versus USC. Oh, look at the true shooting percentage. 55 for both teams.
The difference is that Michigan State shoots 39.5% from 3, which is 3rd in the nation. I'm going Michigan State. That 3-point percentage is amazing. They have a lot to play for. They're one of the best free throw and 3-point shooting teams, which normally correlates to at least one win. Tyson Walker is really good. I think Michigan State has a chip on their shoulder and they're going to win.
While Michigan State does shoot 39% from 3, and they are a great ball, they are a great squad. USC does have a couple players who can shoot the 3 if they wish and can make it. They have Boogie Ellis, who shoots 39% from 3. Peterson can shoot very well. I haven't seen him play too poorly. And then Kobe Johnson, I think he shoots 36% from 3, which is adequate, but he also averaged 2.2 steals a game. And I feel like the USC's offense is going to give Michigan State a run for their money. And I like Boogie Ellis as a ball player. Peterson is a great rebounding guard. And so, yeah, I believe USC pulls this one out as the 10-7 upset.
Oh.
But the problem is USC has some very bad losses this year. They lost, obviously, to Oregon State not that long ago. They got blown out by Oregon. They have a loss against FGCU. The bad losses hurt for me, and I don't think they have enough firepower against this great shooting team of Michigan State. So
that could be true, and I'm still fighting my mind on this one. It's going to be tough. I'm figuring that one out, but at this very moment in time, it's USC.
This one to me is really a toss-up. I think I saw something like Michigan State is not playing well lately, and neither is USC.
USC is 6-4. Michigan State's 5-5. But Michigan State's losses are against much better opponents, so it all cancels out.
All right. So, who will I pick? And I pick.
I think I might have to change to Michigan State too. I mean,
sweet on a pick. Nice.
Yeah, it's too good. It's
too good at shooting. Shooting matters in March.
Yeah, they're too good of a shooting team, and they've consistently shot the ball well. And so even if one of them decides to have a bad game, the other 3 or 4 of them are going to pick them up. So yeah.
All right.
Michigan State wins.
Michigan State now. Marquette versus Vermont.
Marquette
by 25-40.
Yep.
Dang. All right, now Marquette versus Michigan State.
Marquette.
Marquette by 18+.
All right, shaking it up. Now K-State versus Kentucky.
Wait, Kevin, do you agree with those?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Wonderful.
K-State struggled recently. Kentucky has a harder strength of schedule. I think they're going to be invigorated, like you said, Jake, from last year. I think they make the Sweet 16. I have Kentucky.
Really? That's interesting. K-State has a great defense, and they score the ball well too. And so they play well on both sides of the ball.
But they have some not the best losses. They're 0-2 their last 2 games. They've lost to Oklahoma and Texas Tech in their past 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kentucky does have a bad loss against Georgia, but the other 2 losses they've had in their last 8 games are against Vanderbilt, who's one of the hottest teams in the nation as well. And I know they didn't make the tournament, but still.
Yeah. And K-State doesn't necessarily shoot the ball extravagantly well from 3. They have a couple guys who can shoot very adequately. But other than that, they're a very poor 3-point shooting team, but their defense is pretty good. And they do rebound the ball, and they have the size to compete with Oscar Tshiebwe, and I still don't believe in this Kentucky team. No matter how hot they've been towards the end of the season, I'm gonna have to go K-State.
I know you say they can rebound the ball, but 135th isn't the greatest. I'm confident that the rebound battle will be won by Kentucky by a sizable margin, and Oscar
I agree.
Tshiebwe will have his way. So I think he's going to have a legacy game here against K-State and kind of show why he is one of the better players in the last decade for Kentucky.
So it's my
Yeah.
final decision. Austin, we had a nice run. I'm going to side with Jake.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you did that just to break up the streak. But
Well, also, I just don't really trust Kentucky, but I also do not like picking a 2 and 3 seed matching up in the Sweet 16. But
Wait, Kentucky's the 6.
that's what's
yeah. Yeah, I don't want a 2 and 3 seed facing.
Yeah.
So I thought about picking 6, but I think I'm gonna ride with K-State. I just don't really trust Kentucky.
I don't trust K-State. Those losses against Oklahoma and Texas Tech are deep in my mind. I mean, remember, Texas Tech didn't even have their head coach.
It's true.
So I don't trust K-State. But I understand the distrust in Kentucky. And I think we could do this right now, Marquette by 20 against either one of the two.
Yes.
Who lost to Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma. K-State lost to Oklahoma and Texas Tech.
Okay, well, they also beat Baylor twice. They beat Kansas and they beat Texas.
Baylor struggled recently, though.
They beat them twice, though, and they're not a shabby. They're not
Texas,
a terrible team.
The hottest team.
They lost to Texas though recently. They haven't beat Texas in their last 10.
Texas is good.
Sure.
I'm just saying, K-State has proven themselves to be able to beat the top teams, and Kentucky is not one of those. And so I trust.
Both teams are inconsistent. I'll say that.
Yes, both teams are incredibly inconsistent.
Both of these teams get 20 balled by Marquette.
I agree. Marquette demolishes.
You can already put Marquette.
Yes, Marquette already clicked. But now, come on, Austin. I know you want to do it with me. Oral Roberts versus Louisiana.
Do you want to say it on 3?
Yeah,
sure.
You want to count out?
I'm pretty sure Jake would go against from us just to mess it up, but sure, we can do it.
3, 2, 1.
Louisiana.
Oral Roberts.
You went Louisiana, Kevin?
I thought I was going to get Jake saying Louisiana too, but no, Oral Roberts.
Nope, Oral Roberts wins this one.
Experience matters, yeah.
Yep, they have Vanover and this other good guard.
What an underrated team, man.
Yep, Memphis versus Purdue.
I'm going to start this one off. Memphis wins.
Memphis.
Let's go, Memphis.
Memphis wins.
Memphis is built for March.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
If you can slow down Zach Edey, Purdue is not as good as a 1 seed should be.
Yeah. This is just a fraudulent bracket. There's a lot of tough teams, except Marquette. So who will meet Marquette?
Memphis.
Memphis will meet Marquette.
I love Oral Roberts. Memphis is built for March. I can say it 100 times. They are built for March.
All right. So now, who wins, Memphis or Marquette?
Marquette
in a close game. I think this game's going to be really close. Memphis is, I'll say for the 100th time, Memphis is built for March, but Marquette is built for April.
Yep.
All right. Now we are in the final region, and then we still have the Final Four to get to. Now, Kansas versus Howard.
Come on now.
We can skip this
Howard.
one.
Yeah, Kansas.
All right.
Kevin said Howard.
Kansas.
That's funny.
All right,
Kevin
now
would say Howard, wouldn't he?
the Hogs versus the Illini.
Both teams are so inconsistent. I'm going Arkansas. I'm going to Arkansas because of their ability to play at home and the road. Illinois, both teams are 4-6 in their last 10. Both teams have not been great. Illinois, though, is 0-5 on the road, while Arkansas is 2-2. Arkansas has experience. They've been the one of two teams to make the back-to-back Elite Eight. I'm going Arkansas. It's really close. I'm going Arkansas.
I agree. Arkansas, they just have too deep of a squad to have performed as poorly as they did this year.
Well, injuries injuries. We would have a 9-man roster if injuries would happen. It wouldn't have happened then. If Trayvon Brazil was here, I would legitimately have us in have Arkansas in the Final Four. But without Brazil,
Trayvon Brazil's not that good. I got to watch him for a year.
You didn't watch him at the beginning of this season.
Yeah, I did. I was just being a little bit of a hater. The Hogs win. That's it.
All right, we have the Hogs advancing to face the Jayhawks. But before we do that, St. Mary's versus VCU.
Two of my favorite teams in the country. It's versus one of the best defenses in the country in VCU versus one of the better shooting teams in the country in St. Mary's. Jake, please help me.
I picked VCU for this one.
I'll pick VCU because you did. When I tell you this is probably the only one I am truly 50-50 on. I have no idea. This is I have no idea.
Is just an all right offensive team. They're really great defensively, but so is VCU, and it's gonna be a low scoring.
VCU's a better defensive team, and but St. Mary's is a better offensive team. But St. Mary's, like you said, isn't a great offensive team, and I'm fine with the VCU pick. Like I said, I'm truly 50-50. Whatever you guys would have, whatever our March Madness expert would have said, I would have agreed with.
All right. I would have picked VCU as well. So now we go to Iona versus UConn.
I have UConn winning this by a landslide.
UConn by 35. I know Rick Pitino's such a great head coach, but Marist came back and cut it to a 3-point game, who was 14 and 19 during the year. Against Iona. Iona has two good shooters, but they press too much. And I understand you can do that in your conference, Iona, but you can't press UConn.
Nope.
You can't.
Not press UConn because
they're gonna press UConn, and then UConn's gonna be up by 20, and then Rick Pitino's gonna be like, stop pressing, and then they're gonna lose by 30. So Iona's not as good. I know their record's good, but they struggled in their conference tournament. I know they won it, but I'm not as much on the train as other people are.
All right. Now we go TCU versus ASU or Nevada.
Okay, so TCU is one of the worst shooting teams in the country. Like literally bottom 15 shooting the ball. I think Nevada beats Arizona State because Nevada is one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. 79%. Compare that to TCU, they're 9% better. 79.1 versus 70.1. I have Nevada beating TCU.
I do not have Nevada beating TCU because TCU does have quite the ferocious defense. They are intimidating and will not let you get past they're just so they play in your face. They play on ball, and it's exciting to watch. And they're also, even though they don't shoot the ball particularly well, they don't have a bad offense. They can score the ball. They do have players who can shoot the ball if they're playing well that day. And I also like their mascot. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like my mascot pick for the year. I always have one, and TCU is the one.
I like that. I'm sticking with Nevada. I don't think the mascot argument got me.
I'm gonna go with TCU. So
okay.
I think they'll at least get one win. Now we go to Gonzaga versus GCU.
I like the GCU story. I like the fact that, hey, I saw like the Drew family bracket where it has Bryce Drew, the coach of GCU, playing against Baylor in the championship game because Scott Drew's his brother and all that. But let's be honest, no one on GCU can stop Drew Timme.
Nope.
Yep. So, all right, Gonzaga. Now, Boise State versus Northwestern.
Two of the best two really good defenses.
Yeah. It came down for me. Here, Austin, you can go first so I can formulate my thoughts.
Okay. I had Northwestern. It's so close. Like literally, they're one spot away from each other on defense. And I understand Boise State's a better offensive team, but what Northwestern has had to go through in the Big Ten, Boo Buie is so good. I think they have enough players here. They have the size. I'm going Northwestern. I'm fine with the Boise State pick. Boise State's really good. I think Northwestern has showed that in their conference they can have one of the best defenses in the country. And I think they have that one great star player to carry them through to the next round.
I agree. I
All right.
have Northwestern winners for many
right.
of those reasons.
Northwestern. And now UCLA versus UNCA.
Man, UCLA's got it.
UNC Asheville.
Whoa!
I'm serious.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
I
What's
told
wrong
you
with UCLA's defense?
their injuries. They have too many injuries. And I think the fact that a 6'10 Drew Pember is the best player on UNC Asheville, averaging 21 and 9, 21.2 and 9.4 to be exact, while averaging 2.3 blocks and almost a steal per game. They also have a second player in Tywan Jones that is extremely good, 6'5 guard, 15 and 5.2. They have the size. I think, look, I'm going risky. I told you you weren't going to out risky me with your picks here, and I've kind of proven that to be true in taking UNC Asheville. Look, I bet you guys are both going to take UCLA, and I'm just talking out the wind here, but
Go for it.
I think UNC Asheville, back-to-back years of 15 seeds, if there is a 15 seed, this is a 1. UNC Asheville is clear and far away the best 15 seed, and I think they have a matchup here against an injured UCLA team that struggled against the size of Arizona, and I think they'll struggle against Drew Pember and not be able to make up for their losses that are off the court.
Yeah. UCLA lost Jalen Clark, which was huge. I think they probably could have won the national championship with him. But I mean, they still have Jaquez and Campbell and Amari Bailey. They are still one of the elite defensive teams in the nation. They force turnovers, and that is one of UNC Asheville's kryptonites.
I will say this: Bona, they're really only UCLA's only true tall player that they play a good bit. Bona is a game time decision, and if Bona, their only player above 6'6" who plays solid minutes, because they do have some 6'9" guys, but those guys average 1 point per game, so I'm not going to count those guys. They play a 6-man roster, or they're going to have a 6-man roster. And if Bone is out, they're going to have a 5-man roster of guys who actually play minutes. And they also, I guess, 7 with Nwuwu, who plays 11 minutes per game, and Dylan Anderson plays 10.6. But they play 6 normally with Jalen Clark, and he's out.
No,
And I think Bona is a game time decision. If Bona doesn't play, UNC Asheville by 10. Who is guarding him? You got to put Jaquez on him? Is that what we're doing now? I'm telling you, right?
Bring in the freshmen, man. They have some tall freshmen. They'll throw in.
But for that to be, you're not going to be nervous first.
They're going to be nervous, of course. Look, UNC. I agree. I don't even like this UCLA team. And if there is going to be a 15 seed upset, it will be this game. And I shouldn't be skeptical based on the history of March Madness, but it's so hard for those low teams to beat these top teams. And I agree.
I think the stars are aligning. If Bona game time decision is out, the stars are aligning. The stars are aligning. Kevin, you're the one to break this up. I know Jake chose UCLA, so
you know what? You convinced me, Austin. UNCA.
Kevin loves me today. I
always
picks.
love you, Austin.
Oh, I
it's
appreciate
not a
that.
Pick. It's not a crazy pick. I just like playing it safe.
You were talking about how our top was too safe, and now
you gotta risk it for the biscuit, man.
Yeah, exactly.
There is such a thing as too safe. I said I like playing it sometimes. I meant to say I like playing it a little safe, and with the 2 seeds, with the 1 through 2 through 3 seeds, I like to play it safe.
We still appreciate you, Jay.
But it makes sense. We're not going risky for no reason. Like this is
no. This is. I mean, if this happens, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, UCLA lost. I mean, it's
especially if Bona is out. who's their only true big man.
Yeah.
And the big man being the main factor for UNC Asheville, I mean, it matters.
Is there an update?
It
Is there
matters.
an update on
And
Bonus?
here's a fact. Here's a fact. Taiwan Jones, I forgot to say this, Jake. On 6 attempts per game from 3, 45.6 on 6 attempts per game from
Oh.
3. 45.6, their second best player, averaging 15 points per game.
No, yeah, UNC Asheville shoots the ball very well from 3.
And their 6'10 Drew Pimber, 37% on 4 attempts. And they also have Fletcher Abbey, who shoots 42% on 4 attempts per game. I'm telling you, this is the team. All you guys out there who want to pick a 15 seed, this is it. This is the team.
I think Bona's going to play, though.
Well, I mean, it's the whole point about picking your brackets. You don't know, right? It's just game time decision. It doesn't even say probable. Game time does not make me think. What if UCLA is like, oh, it's a 15 seed? It's a 15. If they say, oh, it's a 15 seed, they're losing this game by 15. I'm not joking. Because UNC Asheville should not be a 15 seed. I'll just say that. I think this team's better than Iona, and Iona got a 13 seed.
Oh, they're a good team. They're a phenomenal team.
A 27-17 being a 15 seed is kind of.
They're highly underrated, and they are incredibly dangerous. They're good. They're good, and they can shoot the ball very well. I don't like making those picks. If it happens, it happens. It's no big deal. I just don't
And
like
that's
making
why
those picks.
And that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Offer.
Talk some sense into us.
But we will not. All right, now we got Northwestern versus UNCA.
Northwestern's defense is too good, and they're healthy, which is the difference. And I think the fact that they have Bowie, who I think will be very good. The Big Ten's a different animal come defense this year, and I'm really big on Northwestern. I think Northwestern's a very good team. I like the 15 seed story, but we're not having back-to-back 15 seeds go to the Sweet 16. We're not going to have something that's so out of this world crazy. And Northwestern has a 7-footer in Matthew Nicholson who should play in this game unless something absolutely crazy happens in their game against Boise State. So they have the size to match. Again, Asheville could win this game. I would not be shocked, but I think Northwestern's defense, which I think is better than UCLA's because of their matchups and the fact that UCLA doesn't have Jalen Clark. I'm picking Northwestern.
I agree.
All right. I agree as well. Northwestern. Now TCU versus Gonzaga.
Zags.
Yeah, Zags by 10.
Yeah.
I don't think Gonzaga
Ooh.
can. TCU cannot stop Timmy. I don't think they can.
They're the Zags. I mean, come on. It's Mark Few we're talking about here.
Now we
That's
got
my argument.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one. I don't.
It's a good one. VCU versus UConn.
UConn, I think by 20.
Ooh.
By 20?
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
I have UConn, but I don't have them by 20. I say UConn by 5.
Oh, okay. All
Fine,
right.
I'll make it 14.
Okay.
Ooh.
Thank you for being at least a little bit respectful to one of the best defensive teams in the country, but
I'll make it 14.
All right.
9th in defensive rating. But okay. Well, again, I agree with you. UConn's better. They will win, but not by 20. There's no shot.
All right. Kansas versus Arkansas.
What Arkansas are we getting is the question I have to ask Arkansas. If we're getting the best version of Arkansas, but I don't think we are. Musselman has been very outraged. He cannot keep his composure. Nick Smith Jr. is calming him down mid-game. I believe Arkansas has the talent, but Kansas, probably reinvigorated by the stints that had to be put in Bill Self's heart, will beat this team into the next round, and I have Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. I mean, it's Jalen Wilson. It's Dejuan Harris, that senior leadership. Yeah, Kansas is going to win. Arkansas has proven time and time again they can't win big games.
Right. Who does Kansas make it to the Elite Eight?
No, Kansas does
Oh.
not make it to the Elite Eight.
Austin.
I agree.
Kansas.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
UConn's really good. UConn's really good.
UConn is very
You-
good this year, gentlemen.
UConn by 1.
By 1. All right.
I say UConn by like 10.
Oh wow. All right.
I think the freshman Grady Dick is gonna have a nice little. He's gonna get a little real life defense here.
Let me-
What? Go ahead.
Kansas losing by 20 versus Texas shows something.
Yes.
And
Yes.
UConn's only 2 losses in their last 10 games are to Creighton, who I think is really good, by 3, and Marquette by 2.
So do you remember my criteria? Rebounding,
Educate us.
rebounding, defense, and depth. And these are all things that UConn has. They rebound 39 boards a game. They have a guy who shoots, 40.8 from 3, 40.8% from Caravan shoots that. Calcaterra shoots 44.6 from 3. Adama Sanogo, the big boy, shoots 35%.
Sanogo is so good. Sanogo is so good.
Hawkins and Newton both shoot 36% from 3. And they're rebounding guards. They match up well because of their size against other guards in the league. They
Also,
pass the ball.
Kansas has some injury concerns. Not major, but they do have some depth injuries. And UConn's depth is they have 0 injuries. Sanogo is insane. UConn in a very close game.
UConn averages 17 assists per game. That's amazing to me. And so they move the ball. They play great defense. They can block. They can shoot. They do everything. UConn beats Kansas this year.
All right. Spicing it up.
Do you agree with that, Kevin? You never gave us your take.
I was gonna pick Kansas, but I think they go a little bit farther. But I just think Kansas, yeah. But I would love it if Kansas lost. But now Gonzaga versus Northwestern.
Gonzaga.
All right. Now, who will take our final spot in the Final Four in the perfect bracket?
UConn.
Huskies.
Ooh, okay. All right. I was going to go with Gonzaga. So, the Final Four, as you can see on our screen, we have Bama facing Marquette and Houston facing UConn. Let's go. Which one are we feeling?
I don't like either because they hurt my brain.
Expert.
Yes. Let's start with the one that's gonna hurt our brain the least, and I think that might be Bama and Marquette.
All right.
So let's take a step back and let's really think about these two teams. All right. What does Marquette have? All right. Let's think about it. They have veteran leadership. They have 3-point shooting. They are not good at rebounding the ball. They are not good at rebounding the ball. And so this matchup against Bama is troublesome for them, despite how good their defense may be. And so that's a factor that we need to think about when we're making this decision. What are your thoughts, Austin?
You see, I would have San Diego State here. I made that evident before. And that
Good callback to part 1.
Yeah, good callback. If you guys didn't watch that, you have to. It's a
You'd
great
be
lead
really
up.
confused if you clicked on this episode.
Yeah, please watch the other one first. And the crazy part is that I would have had San Diego State going to the final with their defense.
Ooh,
But-
all right.
In this matchup, man,
I'm gonna go.
I would
ahead
have to
and-
go. I would have to go Bama.
I would have to go
Oh.
Bama as well.
Wow. I was going to go Marquette.
Marquette's
but-
not good enough rebounding the ball. They're not.
Mhm.
All right.
And
And it's
Bama has too much size.
yeah.
So you think Bama, with everything that's happened, makes it to
Yes.
the finals?
Yes. No one on that team is a criminal.
It's just the fact that I think they're like, while I have them losing to San Diego State, their team is built like a champion, and that is scary for anyone that has to face them. And that would even be a problem rebounding against San Diego State, who's 112th, against Marquette's 317. So that's almost 150 spots better. Marquette's not good enough rebounding the ball to get past a team that can also do something else amazing. And with Alabama, that is scoring. With San Diego State, that is defense. Marquette's very, very good. And I wanted to have a Big East championship. I wanted to. But unfortunately, Marquette's not good enough.
Nope.
All right. Now, who will face Bama in the championship? Houston or UConn?
I got the Huskies.
I don't know.
I have the Huskies. I'm a firm believer in the Huskies this year. I just think they have all the tools.
Sell me, Jake, because I'm lost.
Yeah. Well, I already mentioned why I like UConn this year, but I will.
Why better than Houston though, who's also really good in all those statistics that you just mentioned?
Size. Sonogo can get boards. He's 6'9", but he's 250, and that's a big man in my opinion. They also have Klingon, the freshman, who is 7'2". This team rebounds the ball, and if I know anything about national champions, is that they rebound the ball, and no matter how good defenses are, the team that rebounds the ball will usually win the ball game, and they're not bad shooting. They're a solid shooting team, and they pass the ball amazingly well. 17 assists per game, and passing the ball, getting the tempo moving very quickly is something that I would like to see Houston. They didn't fare well against Memphis, and they didn't have Sasser. But I mean, even with Sasser, it was going to be a close game against Memphis of all teams. And Memphis isn't a bad team, but it's still they're not UConn.
The difference in rebounding isn't much. The difference is 38.8 for Houston, 39 flat for UConn. I'm really close. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Me too.
I would love to watch this game, but I'll go with the March Madness expert himself and take UConn.
All right. I think I'm going to do the same pick. We're going to go with our expert.
Yeah, and Houston, they do rebound the ball, but they're freshmen. I think one of them's a freshman, and the other is 6'7". And so that's something that concerns me. No matter how deep Houston is, because they are deep and they have a lot of players that play a lot of minutes, they're not a great shooting team. And no matter how good defensively they are and how good their defensive scheme is, I think UConn is the team to exploit it.
The UConn, that game would go to overtime or double overtime. Like that is, I honestly like. Too. It is such a. I don't know. Like this is what makes it so fun to pick, because of games like this where they aren't obvious, and those aren't obvious picks is really what makes it worthwhile making a bracket. Because if it was all obvious, everyone would have a perfect bracket. But that's why we have Jake, is to make ours. So
yes,
I guess we're on to the national championship.
Yes, Bama, number 1 Bama versus number 4 UConn.
I think because I would have San Diego State in this matchup, I have to go UConn, because I don't want a team that I have out in the Sweet 16 as our winner. So I'm going to go UConn.
Yep, for all the reasons that I gave, UConn will win this game. They have the size to match up with Bama and the experience to just simply out-experience Bama.
I agree.
And I think Brandon Miller can't be Brandon Miller forever, can he? He has to mess up at some point, right? He has to have one bad game, right?
They have such a hard route. I mean, think about it. San Diego State, Arizona, Marquette, UConn. That is such a tough flurry of games in a row for Brandon Miller to have to be not just that guy, but him. He has to be him. I know that's a popular saying nowadays, but he has to be. He has to be different. Mm-hmm. And you can only be that good for so long. We saw that last year with Paolo, really. Paolo was really carrying Duke through a lot of those games, making some great plays, but you can't do it every game. And I think eventually, I have it being earlier, but at any point, if Brandon Miller, against Arizona, against Marquette, against San Diego State, against UConn, if this is actually what happens if we do get a perfect bracket, if at any point he is not him, if he's not Brandon Miller, they lose. He
Bama
is
falls. Bama falls without
Bama.
Brandon Miller.
Bama falls when Brandon Miller does,
Yep.
All right.
and so
And it's all a matter of when. It's all a matter of when
or
it
if
happens.
technically.
I think
Yeah.
it's bound to happen. I haven't seen him fall once this season. I don't remember a time when he's fallen.
Oh, as someone who's watched him play all year, there's been so many times where I thought this is it. This is where we actually get to see a freshman act like a freshman. Nope.
Nope.
I think in this national championship game, I have it being earlier, but if this is what happens and this is the perfect bracket, I think this is where he maybe has 10 points because he's just being smothered. And that is it's tough to see for a Bama fan, but you guys have football in the future.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement. UConn is the national championship. Now for the tiebreaker. Winner, what's the spread? Or what's the
Combined
final
score. Combined scores. So, or is it final score?
Or no, not combined score.
Final score.
Final score. My final score, I like to do in national championships 5 to 6 point changes, differences. So I'm going to have to say around a 70 to 65. That's my pick.
I think it's going to be more defensive. I'll go 68, 62.
All right, I'm going to go 68. We'll do a mix. 70 to 68.
Wow. 70 to 68?
That's a different mix. We both.
Yeah.
I went by 6. You went by 5. But
Oh yeah.
you just
It's gonna be
said.
a little bit closer.
I thought you were going to say like 69, 64.
Yeah, because that actually would have been in the middle. But
All right, do you want to go 69, 64?
I mean, it's your bracket, Kevin. You're the
Oh,
one who
it's
has
our
it.
bracket. It's our bracket.
I know it's our bracket, but you're the one who has it the screen pulled up. If you want to go 70, 68,
We'll go 69, 64.
okay.
All right. There it is. We're going to close the bracket. There it is. And we're going to go back to the dashboard to see if anyone else joined. There are only 6 members. This can all be one of y'all can join. And if you win, you get a liner. And one of those liners was included in this show. The next one should be included in the next one where we have Jake. Jake, thank you so much for doing this. We are confident in all our picks. Any final thoughts?
I just hope the next time when we inevitably do a review with our March Madness expert, hopefully he's happy along with all of us because we did the impossible.
Oh, likely not.
Hey, you love to dream. I love to dream.
I got to tell you that our overall bracket was scarily similar to my personal bracket.
I'm
Okay.
assuming that UNC Asheville did not have an inclusion, but
UNC Asheville did not have an inclusion. However, I like the squad that I like the picks I've made this year, and I believe in it. So
And reminder, you can add 2 brackets. Jake, you can't add another one. It's 2 brackets for anyone that is not a host because we have this bracket and our own. And if one of those wins, no one wins. But that's it. Thank you for joining us, Jake. Austin, great seeing you as always. That's all we got. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.